Whew. So I was gonna wait until the Besties was out to make the formal announcement and let y'all know about this. But our man Villa just had to drop in early January, so... it. Guess who's back on his bull? Hey y'all, Crash Thompson here, and welcome to this review of the latest from VV, Neon Noir. Back when him broke up in 2017, it was kind of a heartbreaking day. I mean, for the better and the worst, there was just no other band quite like him, and quite like what him was doing. But Villa has been poking around here and there, releasing smaller projects, just kind of off to the side, a single here, a collaboration there. But this is his first full-length solo project under the pseudonym VV. Clever. It's a new game, new setup, new outlook. How does the music sound? It's just him. There are things about it that are a little different. There are things that Villa does to try to put his own stamp on it. But if you want the too long didn't watch version, it's a him record, but maybe a little different. Everything you would expect in your usual him record is more or less here. You know, the spooky kind of mall goth vibe, the, you know, sinister undertones, the whole dark brooding aesthetic, the sort of Hot Topic chic, the mall goth sort of darkness thing, you know. It's all still here, and God, one thing I'm glad hasn't changed. People, these lyrics, like just the song titles, y'all. Check some of this out. Saturnine Saturnalia, salute the Sanguine, Loveletting, Loveletting. And my personal favorite, Echolocate Your Love. Echolocate Your Love. God help me, I'm already wet. Two heartbeats out of sync with each other and crying, dreaming of love-letting love. Death, come blow me a kiss through this cathedral of cards. Remind me how to decrypt the cipher written in the blood of my heart. Hoot me a Suspiria sunset in technicolor hues. Howl heart-struck lupine lullabies from the hymnal of the doomed. That is the very first lyric on the record. I missed this. Look at this thing. This is exactly what you'd expect from a hymn record. Just whoa. Whoa. Ooh. That is my shit. That is 100% my shit, and I'm here for it. It is very similar to a lot of the previous hymn records. I would specifically say, though, it kind of apes more off of the later hymn oeuvre, the sort of Screamworks and Tears on Tape era, lots of bright, squelchy synths, a lot of poppier leading melodies and choruses, much more emphasis on the hook than the heavy. It feels almost like a continuation of the Screamworks Tears on Tape. Like if him had continued and stayed in that sonic direction, I feel like this might have been the album they would have ended up making. And you know, it has a lot of the general advantages that I think those later hymn records had. The choruses are instantly infectious and get stuck in your head the minute you listen to them. I poke innocent fun at stuff like Salute the Sanguine and Baby Lacrimarium. But like, man, those songs really bop, and, you know, those choruses are really catchy, you know? Salute the Sanguine. The poppier structure to the songs makes them a bit more accessible. It makes them a bit less obtuse. If you're not into like darker music or like gothier sort of side thing, if goth is kind of not your thing, but you might be open-minded to it, stuff like this, I almost feel serves as like a nice kind of gateway band. It's like, it's got its little dark features to it, but it's not so alienating, or it's not so messy or scary that it'll push you away. That's kind of what I like about him, and by proxy, this VV record. You know, it's like Babby's first spoopy record. I will say that the production on this record actually does sound a bit muddier than on a lot of hymn records previously. Honestly, compared to the previous hymn records where the production was just absolutely crystal clean and so crisp, this is a little bit of a step down. It does sound like those older records just from a sonic and a construction standpoint, but it doesn't match the cleanness and the clarity of those previous mixes. The bass definitely needs more presence on this thing. The drums don't really stand out either. The rhythm section, it just kind of... I wish it were pushing through a little bit harder. In some places, the drums almost sound fake. Like, it's a little rough around the edges in that respect. And I'd say the general guitar work... Again, it's still good, it's still very infectious, bright choruses, infectious verses. It's just not quite, it's like, screaming and flashy and solo heavy and as adventurous as Linda Lindström's guitar cuts, again, on previous hymn records. I know Ville obviously gets a lot of, central credit when it comes to him. I mean, look at this man. If this is the face of your band, yeah, I'd want to put a lot of focus on it too. But a lot of people forget that him was not just Ville, and a lot of the other folks in that band were really what helped make that sound as strong as it was. And Linda Lindström's guitar work, man, it's kind of hard to match. If you're a diehard, especially like me, you definitely notice its absence. I wouldn't say it's the most distracting thing, but never does this album, break into a fucking rage-tastic solo. Also, as a result of that, and the more poppier sort of lean in songwriting and production, I can definitely say this album isn't as heavy as a lot of previous hymn records are. Ville does do an admirable job on his own. I don't want to sell him too short here. He's just more satisfactory. He gets the job done. It's fine, but it never explodes in that same way. Outside of the vocals and the synth arrangements, it gets the job done, but it isn't exactly him. You know what I mean? Maybe it's not fair to compare this solo project to his previous band like that, but y'all, I mean... It's the same sonic approach, it's the same songwriting techniques. Ville is even using pretty much the exact same heartagram logo. Okay, it's a little different, but y'all, I feel like we're just nitpicking at this point. I'm just saying, if you're an old hat, long-time fanboy like me, there are elements on this album that don't necessarily one-to-one match that old hymn sound. That could be maybe potentially disappointing for some. But, I make it sound like I don't like the record. This record is still really, really good. Like with any good hymn record, I had a lot of dumb fun with this. Ville's still got those trademark pipes, and his delivery is as slinky, syrupy, and seductive as ever. It still creates that gorgeous mood and soundscape of, gothic, trashy seduction that we all know and love so much. This record still sounds like getting your first kiss in the middle of a hot topic, and y'all, I'm a simple man. When it comes to him, that's all I'm really asking for, and this thing still delivers, absolutely. Even though it's not exactly him, it's still him in all the right ways. I feel like him fans will definitely still get a lot out of this, unless you just bailed after Venus Doom and can't stand anything beyond the Screamworks era. It feels like a continuation of what the band was doing on those later records, brought to a new sort of era. It feels like it was progressing from where they left off. Him fans, we ain't that picky overall. We ain't looking for too much. We just want our boy here to just slut around and goof it up and just be as sexy as fuck while doing it. And come love me till it hurts. Mission accomplished. But even if you've never heard of him or Ville Valo or any of the band's previous work, I could still say this is worth a listen. I'd say there's enough here to keep things interesting, especially if you're into spooky, kind of heavy, but not too heavy, kind of mall goth kind of stuff. If My Chemical Romance is the heaviest band you listen to, this could fit for you. For him fans, this is definitely a solid to strong 8. For non-him fans, though, maybe a light to solid 7. If you've never heard of him before, I'd probably recommend you check out some of their better works before you dive into this. My first recommendations: Venus Doom, Dark Light, Screamworks, fucking Love Metal, of course. But if you are a hymn fan and are looking for more of that good old kind of classic sort of hymn vibe, if you want to feel that again, it isn't one-to-one, but it is a damn solid job. And hey, again, Ville has always been a very talented musician, and I feel like he did a bang-up job on this record. Definitely worth your time. And that is all for VV Neon Noir. Have y'all listened to this record yet? Feel free to let me know in the comments. How did you like it? How did you feel? Are you a hymn fan? Are you a new listener? Tell me what you thought below, and hopefully y'all enjoyed it as much as I did. And if you didn't, that's cool too. Stay tuned, the best of 2022, along with all the Patreon exclusive videos that come along with that, will be rolling out here really soon. Again, I just kind of wanted to get this... Again, our man dropped early, so I kind of had to just roll with it and deal. But yeah, your boy is back on his new release game. It's the first review we've done. And here is to many more in the near future. I definitely have some stuff already prepared to come out here soon, so stay tuned for that as well. Hope you enjoyed VV Neon Noir. Thanks for watching. My name is Crash Thompson, and I will see ya when I see ya.